Yo, what's up everybody, it's Travel to Stories podcast, and today's episode is about me doing the first true backpacking experience. And guess where did I go? Really close to the place where after 10 years I still recommend going if you are another backpacker, and this is not other than Thailand. Now, like I said, it's really close to that. Actually, it's India. The way I got there, it's really funny because in May I went back to, not in May, in March actually. So I went there in middle January, if you recall, from Hungary to Netherlands I moved. And then in March I went back to Hungary just to visit my parents for the first time, I think after like 2 months of 24/7 hustle period. And then I met this like old friend actually. We used to be like really good buddies back in elementary school. His name is Adam, and back in the days he was still in Hungary working shit jobs, mainly on construction sites, and did that for 10 months, traveled for 2 months here and then. And then as I met him, we started to talk to each other. Hey, what are you doing? How's life? And yeah, I just moved to Netherlands. No shit, you did. And then what about you? Yeah, I traveled to Southeast Asia. So it was such a coincidence, and eventually it turns out that we were really on the same path back in the days. And I asked about his future plans. He said, yeah, I'm planning on going to northern part of India called Ladakh, which is a state among the many, I don't know how many total in India. And he went to Ladakh to do volunteering job. In fact, he was an industrial alpinist, which is like the Spider-Man job. Goes to the top of the building, ties the rope around like carabiner or like a massive object, and then does abseils down, like shoots down through, and in the meantime cleaning the windows, painting the walls, doing some maintenance work and so on. And I was like, no shit, this is a crack up idea, like let me get into this more. And in fact it took me like just a couple minutes talking more with this dude, and I got completely convinced doing so. And I just super obsessed with this idea. So I went back to Netherlands. I did some research on this industrial rope access technician certificate or whatever certification. And then I booked myself back in Hungary again, because it was just like half of the price than in Netherlands. So I was like, yeah, shit, yeah, this is where I'm going to do. So I came back to Hungary. I did I applied for this volunteering program. Now this volunteering program, just quickly give you a briefing on this, that you Hungarians actually obsessed with the famous Hungarians, the ones who did some really good things to the Hungarian culture, history, future, past, doesn't matter, like good scholars. And one of these called Alexander Körösi-Csoma, and he was the first person actually who did the English-Tibet dictionary. And he used to be like a geographer, traveled around Asia and elsewhere as well. And he died in India, which used to be Nepal, but now it's Dharamsala, which is northern part of India, West Bengal state, one of the regional capital, not the state capital though, which is Calcutta. And during his life, he was working and researching this Tibet English vocabulary project, and he built it up. He managed it. He pulled it. It's amazing, and he made history. And thanks to him and his place, there was this Hungarian couple, I think 10-15 years ago, did some insane honeymoon. They were cycling in northern part of Tibet, and as they were cycling across the Himalayas, they came across this monastery in northern part of India, and turns out that this is where this Hungarian Alexander used to live and work on his English-Tibet dictionary. So they made up like a foundation on this organization, and I think it's like shady in somewhat, but still the social impact on the region as well as on the volunteers' life is just like insane. So at the end of the day, it's a really good idea. It's a brilliant concept, and so they get money from the government, from some cultural funds backed by the European Union as well, and also They get some independent, like private donations as well, what they can use. I don't know how, where, and what for, but they also spend a massive amount on this monastery. So they they recruit volunteers each summer, and during summertime period of 3 months usually they go there, Hungarians mainly, if not only, and then they work on these, like, now usually these are like putting bricks and just doing some paintings, and other part is teaching in the local school just like a couple kilometers down on the road. And there were Adam and me who used to hang on the ropes in Ladakh on this monastery as well, and we were like applying the cement and making the wall actually. I loved it, and we were like sort of privileged because we did the cool job, the awesome job, which is hanging on the rope and just smoking pot and enjoying the life big time. Others were doing the same, I suppose, but we were looking like we were up in the sky, up in the air, so it was much more fun, I reckon. I believe, I know, because I did the other one as well, just for the sake of experience. Anyways, so I got this position, I got accepted, and I bought my flight tickets rather quickly. Like I said, that getting to Netherlands, it was really difficult, but actually making the money over there was just way easier, way much easier than elsewhere, back in Hungary, for example. So thanks to this, I was able to save up enough money just to buy the flight tickets without any issues and plan a journey for 8 weeks, starting and doing 4 weeks in India, then 2 weeks in Pakistan and 2 weeks in Iran. Now that time, getting the Iranian visa and Pakistani visa were super difficult. Indian was the straight up process. You paid, I think, like $7 or so, and you get it like after a week. No fuss about it. But the Pakistani visa, there is this Hungarian tour agency who helps you with like booking fake ticket, like doing fake bookings, doing fake reservations, like flight tickets and accommodation respectively, as a proof for your visa. Now these visas actually were really tricky and expensive. You had to do some paperwork, you had to go after these, and that was really like a pain in the neck. I didn't have to go back to Hungary to the embassies, partially because there is, if I'm not mistaken, there is no Iranian embassy and there is no Pakistani embassy, but there are embassies in The Hague, the Netherlands. So I could just go there, printed out these fake reservations, fake flight tickets, and everything was settled. I got them. I was so damn happy. With the Iranian visa, I had to do some interviews, prior application process, just to prove I'm not a bad person or whatever. I don't know, but everything seemed to be smooth, easy peasy, as they would say. I got the visa. Hey, yeah, and I booked all the flight tickets. Yeah, again. I passed somehow the first year. Well, not all the subjects, but I did pass the rest of those classes. So I was happy and I was ready to take off. I did take off, and in fact, I arrived to Iran, India, in the beginning, middle of June. I'm not sure about it, but at this stage, it's irrelevant. So I started off by couchsurfing, and as I was couchsurfing, like the first experience was rather shady, because there was this like big fat guy who still had this like huge sword, because he's a true Punjabi Sikh, I don't know, I don't recall that. And he was hosting not only me, but there was this girl from South Korea, and it seemed to be alright in the beginning, and I didn't even suspect any sketchy things about it. But after the first night, I think, no, it was the second night. I stayed in Delhi for 3 days, and as I woke up, then I remember that this guy was talking to me. We were talking to each other, the three of us, and the girl and the guy were not really talking to each other. I was like, yeah, maybe they don't click, it happens, it's normal. And as the guy left, I started to ask the girl, hey, everything is alright, you seem to be preserved today. And she said, yeah, you know, it was kind of sketchy. Probably I'm just going to leave today because last night we stayed up late, and he started to talk about like, hey, do you know about the Ayurvedic healing, the chakras and stuff like that, and that I'm a healer as well, and one of your chakra, guess what, is your cunt. What if I would heal that? So it was like super sketchy as she recalled it, and as I recall it now, as I'm recalling it now. And it was just bad. And that was the first sign that India and couchsurfing in India is going to be a bit rough and ruthless. And I did 3 couchsurfing experience, 3 I think, no, 4, and 2 of them were rather bad, I would say. And well, the other 2 were like so damn amazing that I can just add them to my positive experiences big time. So anyways, after the 3 days in Delhi, which was like usually getting used to the weather, trying out the new food, the new cuisine, the new, I don't know, experiences, smells, and getting used to all that like Indian atmosphere. And then I rented a motorbike over there. And then I did this like golden triangle in central part of India, which is like Delhi, Agra, Delhi, Jaipur, Agra, and back to Delhi. And yeah, because you want to do this Delhi, why? Because it's the capital, so that must be your starting point, eh? And then you shoot down to southwest to Jaipur, where you have the Amer Fort. And Amer Fort was built in the 16th century. It's magnificent. I really love that one. Probably that was the best culture part I had in India, and I've been there like already 3 times. And then from Jaipur I went to Agra for the Taj Mahal, which I'll get into later. But anyways, back to Jaipur. And as I shut down to Jaipur with the motorbike, I was like really scared and excited at the same time because you're driving a motorbike in India as a foreigner, so God knows whether you're going to have an accident, which I did in fact twice, or you're going to be in need of paying bribes to the cops. In Jaipur, I was really in Jaipur. I had a really good couchsurfing experience. Super friendly guy. I got acquainted way back from Hungary actually, and it turns out that he lives in India. He lives in Jaipur, where I was going to head. And then I asked him, hey, can you host me? Yeah, sure, no problem, it's gonna be cool. Late in the evening, we finally met. It was really dark, it was really shady. I felt lost, and I was lost. So it was like, we actually bumped into each other on the street because I tried to call him, he didn't pick up. Then he tried to call me, I didn't pick it up. It didn't really work the way it was supposed to, but nevertheless we met, period. And as we met, we started to drink, and eventually I got drunk. And I got drunk so bad that I forget suddenly that I'm driving on the wrong side, that this is Anglo-Saxon way of driving. So I was driving like Hungarian style, which is right side on the road instead of left side on the road, which is the way in India. And as I got there, I was just so damn wasted that they were hanking at me. I was like, hey, what the fuck are you doing? Like, hey, I'm trying to drive on my way home. I'm concentrating, don't bother me. And then it dawned on me that I'm on the wrong side of the road. It was messed up, but I really enjoyed it eventually. And I was like, oh, fuck, okay, this was the moment when I stopped drinking while I'm driving. Until New Zealand, but that's another story. And I think in New Zealand everybody's doing drunk driving, but don't jump that far. And then a day after we met Push, that's my couchsurfing's name, Push's friends in Jaipur. And as we were walking, like he grabbed my hand, and you know, I told you guys I'm from Hungary. I still had this like homophobic mindset somewhere back, and it dawned on me, like he grabbed my hand and I was like, oh, what the fuck is this, right? And I was like, oh, what are you doing? What is this? Like, I'm heterosexual, I'm not homosexual. Is it a problem? I can live. Like, I was super shocked and frustrated and stressed at the same time. So what I did actually is that I took my hands from his, and I looked at him and asked, "Hey, what was this?" And then he realized that actually I have the idea that he's gay and he's trying to hook up with me. And then he explained that, look, this is just a symbol of friendship, and look around you. Do you think that all these folks are gay? Well, I don't know, maybe. But actually, he motivated his answer that in his culture, it's just a normal thing to do, which is like hugging each other, friends, or giving a firm handshake to each other back in Europe, back in Hungary, or elsewhere in the world, first world countries. And once I understood that, it became like really natural to me, like seeing others, because I was still not able to do that. So there is this really nice saying, so the person who survives the easiest and the most is not the strongest, neither the fastest, but the one who's able to adapt to changes the most, the easiest. So, and this is just so damn true. So I needed some time, but eventually I adapted, I accepted it. And whenever I met a new friend of his, afterwards they grabbed my hand, and I was all right to do that, like up to 5 minutes, I would say. And afterwards I had to like sort of like sneak away from the situation, sneak out of this case. And yeah, and it was so beautiful, because in Jaipur, like, I met these monkeys in the wild. We went to these like different forts. I had really good times. I think I spent there like couple days. It doesn't matter how many, but I really had a good time. And in fact, he was telling me this crazy story. There are like 3, maybe 4 of them in the family. He had his brother, and his brother was actually his brother got married like a couple of years ago, but to an Indian, because over there it's a traditional family. So this is something I have to tell you. Push is from a traditional family. It matters who marries whom, what's the status, what's the financial situation, what are the future perspective, what are the parents, and like the education and stuff like that. Really traditional, like the typical Indian family that you would have as a Western person in your mind. And then his brother got married a couple months ago, I think, and now it was like officially or unofficially his turn to get married. However, he had a younger sister, so he was telling me that he was in love with this girl from France because of Couchsurfing, and this is beautiful. Like, we've heard of stories where Couchsurfers got married and they fall in love with each other, they settle down and they start a new family, or they just tramp together and then have a family. Nevertheless, he said that, now I'm in love with this girl, she's in love with me, and we agreed that we would love to get married, but I cannot do that because I have a younger sister, and if I get married before my younger sister to a person who's not like rightful or worthy to our caste, or she's not on the same page or above with us, then what's going to happen, my sister will lose her right to, or lose her qualification to get a guy who is richer but from better caste, and so on, which is kind of like confusing to me. And it was confusing in many ways, because I truly believe that love shall have no caste or financial situation and so on, but maybe I'm just too naive, fuck knows. But he said that, and if I would do that, if I would marry this girl without my father's agreement, because the problem is not his sister would not be able to marry from the same cousin. The problem is that his father would never ever agree on this. And yes, so then he said that the problem is not that my sister would not be able to get married from the same caste or above, but that my father would never ever agree on it. And if I were to marry this girl, he would kill me, and he would proudly go to the prison and be in prison for God knows how long, because he knows that he didn't let his son to mess up the caste, to put a strain on the cloth of the caste to rape his reputation, or the caste's reputation, or the family's reputation. It's just so sick. And he said, I think he's not married yet, but he said that he cannot do anything, jack shit, until his sister will not get married, which was prior another extra years. And then his father was ready to do this. He was ready to do this, and he said that once they were like theoretically talking about, hey, what if I would marry a girl from another country? He told these consequences. And this is just insane and super sad to me. And that was already like 2011, yeah. So in 2011, this can happen, and probably it's just the tip of the iceberg. Like, I'm not even close to the core of this situation, to the most radical stuff. I couldn't bear it. I felt really sorry for him, and now he was stuck in this idea where his little sister had to get married first, but he was ready to get married already, however, not to the person where what his father would be happily accepting, and so on. So I truly believe that we are just so damn lucky with our mindset, with our like liberal attitude and anti-conservative approach to life in general. Say I'm too liberal, but it is what it is. Traveling to India, it makes you appreciate liberalism in a number of ways. Yeah, and then I went to Agra from Jaipur also on my motorbike, and I got this accident. I fell off the motorbike because some car was going backwards and didn't look in the mirror. Possibly I was staying in the wrong place, I don't know, it felt legit the way I was riding my bike, and actually fell off the bike, and it was like next to this like small dirty muddy pond. So I fell into that, and I got like completely covered with mud. It was just disgusting, just super gross. Alright, but as soon as I arrived after a couple hours to Agra, I took a rest, and the next day I went to this place where I was trying to get into Taj Mahal, but as I was queuing, I saw that there are like two separate lines. One is for locals, Indians, and one is for foreigners, like expats, or not expats, but foreigners, just tourists usually. And the price was, I think, like 5 times higher, and I was like, wow, this is just insanely. There is no way I'm going to do that. I'm traveling on shoestring. This is discrimination. I'm not going to handle this. You don't have the right to charge me this. Like, with this egoistic, naive, arrogant mindset, I was just so ready to refuse everything and anything coming from these people, because I just like got so upset in a fraction of a second. And as I was walking around, like I was like trying to sneak in, trying to look if I can see Taj Mahal, because hey, I'm still here, so I'm going to see Taj Mahal no matter what. And I saw it from outside. I saw it from like through a tree. I was able to catch a glimpse at the top of the Taj Mahal, like this coupe, and it was nice. It was cute, and I was like so happy that okay, I didn't have to pay, and I still saw the Taj Mahal somewhat. And guys, here is a punchline, even though it's by far not the end of the story. Here's the punchline for today. And as I left the place, I realized that, well, dude, you're not coming back to this place. This is given. This is granted. Dude, you are not going to visit India, which I did later on, but in a sense that Agra, this was the only chance that you see Taj Mahal, which is one of the biggest, like the most fascinating value of the built history, and this is architecture, like this is a historical place. This is everything for India and for a number of people outside India. And I was just so stingy, not frugal, stingy, that I was not able to pay, I think this like $20 fee for entrance. And this is something that sticks up in here every time I think of this. Every time I think of spending the money well versus keeping the money, and getting the experience versus staying away from unnecessary expenses, which eventually necessary or like not unnecessary. I would rather say this one. And this was an amazing lesson, because that made me realize that, wow, no matter what, if you are here, you gotta do that everything that you want, because most likely you're never ever going to come back here. And Taj Mahal was the lesson to me, because that made me learn and made me realize that, well, if you want to do it, then do it now. Do it now. Don't wait until tomorrow. Don't wait until you miraculously will return to the same country, because most likely it's never going to happen. I mean, I'm 29. Before 35, I'm going to travel all the countries. I cannot afford myself to go back to places like Taj Mahal just because I missed that one. So I gotta live with this mindset every time, and it was an amazing lesson for me. I'm so damn grateful for this, and this is what I could suggest you guys as well, that if you go to one place, then don't go there and don't have the mindset that, hey, I can save this one now and I'm coming back next year or next life, whatever. No, you gotta go full throttle. It doesn't mean that you have to spend the money like without any conscious mindset. You gotta be conscious, super conscious, but you have to do the things that you want, because most likely you will never going to come back unless you do. But then you have more free time to do whatever the fuck you want, and then you can spend less time because you have already checked out the things that you want. You have already ticked off the things on your list that you want, right? So you're gonna be super cautious about this. Alright, so that was the Taj Mahal experience, a really negative one, but an amazing teacher. So the best teachers are the negative experiences, I would say. Positive one, hey, cool, I got lucky, the universe takes care of me, angels guard me, God loves me and shit like that. But the negative ones, those are the real teachers. Those are the real ones that allow me to evolve, to get better, and to make conclusions that will help me to become the best me on the road, to utilize my time and money the best way possible. And alright, so after Agra, I shot back to Delhi, and there again on the road I got another accident. It was just stupid. The rear window got like crashed by a car because I was just trying to like hard shoulder between two lanes, and it didn't, or three lanes, yeah, hard shoulder between three lanes, and it didn't work the way I expected and I calculated with my scientific brain how it was supposed to be taken care of. Anyways, I dropped the bike back. I didn't get a fine, so I was lucky. They were really cool. And a couple days after, again, I chilled a bit in Delhi. I flew to Varanasi. And I flew to Varanasi because it's the holiest place in the world and the Hindus' sacred place, blah blah blah. And it was an amazing experience. I loved it. I put my feet in the Ganges. I think I went all the way until my knees, or maybe my hips, and nothing happened, which is a miracle because most people get like super bad infections or that. And until now, I didn't even have a bad stomach. I get the diarrhea when I landed, but because I had 1 liter of like schnapps, vodka, like Simagon, Palinka in Hungarian, but these other one shall cover everything. Maybe like vodka could be another one for American or international standards, but it's like a fruit distillation, really like really strong, like 40 to 50% alcohol concentration. So it killed all the bacteria, and that diarrhea was gone after like 2 days. I was super lucky, but I drank all the 1 liter spirit in 2 days as well, which was like fairly a lot, I would say. Like every 1 hour I drank 1 shot. I get fairly drunk as well, but it is what it is, and I had a good time, so I think I invested that alcohol the best way possible. Anyways, I went back to Varanasi, and I had a Couchsurfing host over there, a really nice guy. Like, we didn't really talk much, and he was busy with his mother because his mother was probably sick, if not just too old, but he helped me here and then until the last damn day. When the last damn day, actually, he gave me the bill that, hey, thanks for the money, I'm keeping the change. I gave him, I think like $10 or $20, yeah, $20 for mangoes. I think I asked him to buy like 2 kilos of mangoes, which is like less than $2 or less than $1. And I was like, hey, can I get a change? And oh, actually, yeah, you know what? You use the internet, you use the water, you use the fucking electricity. So I'm going to keep the change because you use these utilities. I was like, wait a second, this is Couchsurfing. This is not a hostel. This is not Airbnb, hotel, or I don't know. So it was really shady, and it was another negative experience. Actually, I just wrote an article about it. Where I'm talking about the anti-travel, the shady side of Couchsurfing, and this is one of them, and the previous one is another one as well. In fact, this one I even included in this article. Yeah, and I was ready to fly back, but hey, I tried to check in for my flight because it was like a charter flight from Varanasi to Delhi, and I couldn't do that. I was like, hey, why is it not working? Why is it not happening? What's wrong? What's happening here? And as I checked it out, then I went to my email account and I logged in and I checked the flight ticket, and this was not for June, it was for July. I was like, well, what is this? What happened? And then it dawned on me when I purchased the flight ticket from Varanasi and to Varanasi and from Varanasi. I was so damn high. When I chose the return ticket, I didn't choose 14th June, but I chose 14th July. And I was like, oh damn, you're stupid. How could you do this? I was like so angry at me. And then I had to purchase a new ticket. It cost me $50, which was still nothing, but still $50 when you try traveling on shoestring, and then it was really steep. Whatever, I made it back to Delhi. I was so damn relieved, and I had to fly from Delhi to Leh, which is going actually where I was supposed to meet my friend from primary school. You remember Adam? He was the inspiration for this whole journey, and he was already there for a week or two prior that I arrived there. And he welcomed me in the city center. I flew there, but it was, you fly from sea level to 3,000, above sea level, 3,000 meters, which is like 9,000 feet above sea level. That really fucks your mind, actually. You were really dizzy. I was. And as we arrived, as we landed, it was still good because it takes a couple hours until your body starts reflecting on the altitude. And then I went to the city center. I met my friend. We were like super happy. Hey, what's up? It's so crazy that we meet in Leh, in the middle of nowhere, after primary school, and we didn't see each other, I think, for like 4 years, for even more than 5 years. Yeah. So it was like insane. I was so damn happy for that. And then I arrived there, and he was like, hey, do you need a medicine? I was like, I think I know what you're talking about. And so I knocked myself out for a couple hours, and you know what, it helped big damn time. I mean, I was just like so baked that I couldn't even move, but because of this I was able to sleep, to relax, my heartbeat slowed down a bit, and that helped me really to acclimatize. It was super cool. After a while, after a couple of days, we bought our products over there, which was mainly just weed and water and some dried food. For the mini expedition, what we did, we over there climbed. My first mountain was actually Stockhanger 2, which is down in Himalayas. What I did with my primary school friend, we climbed it in 3 days. It was amazing, but we were like rats. We were really gross mountaineers. Like, I wouldn't even call ourselves mountaineers back in the days, because what we did is just we climbed during the day, and we set the tent, we made some soup, and then we just bake. We smoked, and then we just like passed out. We passed out, but in a good way, because we got so high that we couldn't even react on the high altitude sickness. So we were adapting it as we were smoking. And even the last day, we were, I think, over 5,000 meters, and we were still just smoking. So it was really funny. and people were just like, oh, shame on you, what kind of people are you? We just crawled in the tea house to grab some chai, like Indian milk tea, which was awesome with heaps sugar, but we were like really rats. We just like smoked all the time, and it was huge fun, and the summit was just inhuman, like you know, the high altitude sickness, when your body is just like pushed so far that you are high on life, you are high on adrenaline, and when you reach the top, it's just like super amazing. Of course, we planned that we're going to smoke a joint on the top, but we realized that you're stupid dicks, you're not going to smoke anything, just take a picture and get the hell out of there, and that's what we did. We returned to Leh, capital of Ladakh state, and then afterwards we hitchhiked from the capital, which was like insane amount of walking because the roads were like so uninhabited. So we walked like I don't know how many kilometers in 3 days, and in 3 days we hitchhiked like 500 kilometers to this small area called Zangle, 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 which used to be like a small kingdom in India. I'm not really familiar how these things were, but they still have this prince without any rights, but the locals respect him as the prince. Anyways, we hitchhiked there, and we were hitchhiking like so desperately that we hitchhiked with an ambulance, some military trucks, like heaps trucks of course. And by the way, one of the trucks we hitchhiked, I'm not sure if you can see it, but here I have this scar, which I'm going to carry to the afterlife if there's any, with me, because there were like screws poking out from the door, and these trucks in India, they're like super up high, and you don't have these like smooth stairs leading down on the asphalt, unlike in Europe. So you had to jump, and as I was jumping, like my wrist got caught by one of these like poking screws, and as these screws were poking out, they just like cut my hand wide open. But because I was not eating, I was going super shoestring, and we expected like arriving there a day before. We ran out of money. We ran out of food and water, so my blood circulation was super slow, and my blood was thick due to lack of liquid right in my body. So I wasn't really bleeding bad, which was a lucky thing really, because the scar was like, I would say 5 cm big and like 3-4 mil wide. So that was fairly bad. And